sometimes even the brilliance of Larry Cirillo and Ted Nathanson in producing and directing, you can't always get the camera in the right spot. Third and long. Out of the backfield to Miller. But the Jets had that one read well, and he stopped at the 25-yard line, far short of the first down. 8 yards in the play. Sipe goes out. And Steve Cox and the punting team comes on with 5 minutes exactly remaining. Clock is running. Now the Jets would love nothing more than to get the football and keep it on the ground, chew up the clock, perhaps add to their 14-13 lead. Bruce Harper will be the return man. We got a time called. One of the Cleveland Browns players shaken up on that last play. Might have been Deacon again. No, it was number 79, Jerry Sullivan. Sullivan being helped off the field. Does not appear to be anything serious. Sullivan, the 8-year veteran from the University of Illinois. We said earlier that Sam Rutigliano has never been reluctant to gamble. He's not done anything but the conservative today, but you never know. Ozzie Newsome, because Sullivan is the snapper, and that's a big loss. Ozzie Newsome, talk about athletic skill. He's the one designated to snap the ball. Tight end. Cold day, soft turf, pretty good snap, and they get it away. Good kick. At the 34. Holding that ball dangerously. He returns it right to his number, the 42. 40-yard punt by Cox, and you've got to credit Ozzie Newsome with a good snap. That's just a good athlete. Little low, but he got the ball there. 4 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the game, and the Jets have the ball at their 42-yard line. Look at Ozzie. That's the part that'll make him a tight end in a hurry. He kept his head down, and he almost got it pushed right back into his shoulder pads. This is why coaches have a tough time getting volunteers to be the snapper. Keep your head down and pray they don't hit you too hard. Ozzie Newsome, he'll be happy when Jerry Sullivan's back in to assume that role. 4:25 left. The Jets have the ball and a tenuous 14-13 lead. Todd throwing for 2 touchdowns in the first half, and that's been it. Durkee. Clay Matthews from behind got to him first at the 45-yard line. A gain of about 3. Ambrose also in on the stop, and Lyle Alzado. Clock runs. 4:07, 4:06. The Jets go home to Green Bay, their final game. Sure, around the country there are many interested viewers, particularly those that wear the uniforms of the Miami Dolphins, Buffalo Bills, and others fighting for that wild card berth. 2nd and 7. Good hole for Kevin Long at the 49. He's finally stopped, and that'll be shy about 2.5 yards of a first down. Ambrose and Scott collaborated on the stop. Henry Bradley got a piece of it too. Mark Gastineau on the Jets sidelines, hoping he doesn't have to go back in. Of course, the Browns trying to get the football for Brian Sipe for one final charge, and a field goal would do it for them. Third down, more than 2. 4 defensive linemen for the Browns, an 8-man front. Durkee, leading rusher for the Jets, and he's got a first down, and what an effort. Scott Durkee, contact made at the 50, and the 220-pound running back out of Purdue refused to be brought down. And he's playing with injuries on a team that has suffered more than its share this year. Watch this second effort again. Durkee following the block of Kevin Long and Randy Rasmussen, but he's hit right there at the 50, and he just takes Tom Dart and says, you're not going to bring me down until I have the first down at the 46. 61 yards to top all rushers today. And the clock runs at the 2:23 mark. That was a big first down. Todd using plenty of time. Gives to Long, and he's got some running room. And a first down at the 32 of Cleveland. Tom Darden made the tackle, and that will probably take it down to the 2-minute warning. Joe Klecko, 73. Mark Gastineau, 99. Did not have a sack today. Their teammate Abdul Salam had a pair, and the Jets defense has held the Browns to 13, and that may be enough. For with just 2 minutes left, the Jets have the ball and a big 1-point advantage. New York Jets, a couple of big first downs and trying to run out the clock. 2 minutes left, and lead the Cleveland Browns 14-13. Have a first down at the Cleveland 32-yard line. Walt Michaels' club losing only 2 times in the last 11 games. They had a tie with Miami and the 2 losses to Seattle after dropping their first 3 games to start the year. I want to thank so many people, minus the invaluable Merlin Olsen today, that have filled in and in the booth. Pete Halvin, John Betchko, our spotters, Don Travis, John Wag, Gary Schulich, all for their help, and of course all our technicians and cameramen and production crew. It's an experience that I hope will be a one-time only. First down play. Durkin kicking his way, and all the way to the 20-yard line, and another first down as he gobbles up another dozen yards. Good, and Darden made the tackle, and the Browns call time. Scott Durkin, nicknamed the Coke Machine for his short, square build, 5'10" and 220, but he has quick feet here. He slides through the hole, feels a pressure from Matthews, cuts to the right side, and carries 3 Browns for 12. The Browns exercise their first timeout. Special thanks to Joe Costanza, who came equipped with extra pencils and pads today for all his statistical work, and the comfort of knowing that our regular producer Larry Cirillo and veteran director Ted Nathanson working with us down in the truck. We told some of the reporters asking us about working alone is trying to draw the analogy of a baseball infield, and taking Merlin Olsen out of the lineup is like playing the infield without a third baseman, and everyone's had to stretch today. And I think we've all learned one very important thing is that, my goodness, it's a lot more work when you just take one guy away. Besides that, I missed all that 240 pounds of body heat that Merlin took away. At the 20-yard line, the Jets with 1:50 left. First down. Durkin again. And this time he swallowed up in a sea of Brown and immediate timeout at the 19-yard line. Looking at it from the Jets' point of view, the Browns are in a pinch. They have about 1 timeout left. If the Jets get another first down, the game is over. For Rutigliano in Cleveland, with 1 timeout left, they conceivably, if they stop the Jets here, could force them into a field goal situation and would have perhaps a half-minute left to try to get something dramatic. Rutigliano, while under some criticism, he nevertheless has maintained his poise under that kind of pressure. And he said coaches worry too much about what everybody else is thinking. And he said that's stupid. Everyone else is thinking about himself. The only thing I have to lose in Cleveland is my address. And as was said so very well by Clarence Scott, he's treated everyone like a man. He doesn't yell at us. And that's why his team, although totally out of it, has forced the Jets to play to full capacity, and Walt Michaels' club leading by only a point and trying to hold on to the ball and deny Cleveland a final chance. The Browns would drop to 5-10. The Jets would move up to 9-5-1, and 1 victory away from what would be almost certainly a playoff wild card spot. Richard Todd, everyone going to the right, kept the ball himself, and the Jets can start to celebrate. Their cheerleader these past few years, Tom Newton, number 44, leading the emotion. ovations on the sidelines. And here's a look at the Jets as they were watching Todd's play. Newton 44. And as Todd pulls it off, see 93 as well for the Jets. Marty Lyons and Todd. And if the Jets win it, they'll move up to 9-5-1. The Browns have used their last timeout with 1:32 left. Those are the best records in the AFC. Cincinnati, as we started, leading. Denver leading its division. Miami leading. They would be in if the season were over, with Buffalo and the Jets wild card. Of course, that's not the case. There are other teams still involved in the wild card. Could we have that other panel, the other teams, of course, that say, hey, don't forget about us. We still have a chance, although a Jets win might indeed eliminate some of the other clubs going for the wild card. There's 4 other teams in the AFC: San Diego, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, and Oakland, still with a chance starting this weekend's play. Pittsburgh with a very important assignment tomorrow against the Cincinnati Bengals at home at Riverfront Stadium, and that'll be one of our key games here on NBC. The Jets have stayed on the ground 7 plays and have eaten up the clock and have a 1st and goal, and now it's Todd just sitting on the ball, and it'll be an exercise of a couple of more snaps, and this one will be over. Walt Michaels making certain, as he points to the clock, that no chances are taken. 30 seconds between plays. Sam Rutigliano gave his opponents a good test today. Miami has to play tomorrow at Kansas City, another big game here for NBC Sports, and then finish at home against Buffalo. Buffalo at New England tomorrow. Patriots in the same role that the Browns had today here against the Jets, trying to upset the apple cart. And then at Miami in a crucial finale. And the Jets finish at home against Green Bay, but the Jets have taken one of the big steps this afternoon toward the playoffs in beating the Browns. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh tomorrow, and then play at Atlanta. And those are two tough final games for the Bengals. Pittsburgh has to finish at Houston, a team, of course, that has its own special rivalry with the Steelers. Denver, Seattle, then at Chicago. San Diego, 2 tough games. Tampa Bay at home against Oakland, and Kansas City, Miami, and at Minnesota. 10 seconds left. The New York Jets and Cleveland Browns bid farewell at this juncture of the 1981 season. Walt Michaels' team has beaten Sam Rutigliano's Browns. The final score here at Municipal Stadium in cold Cleveland, Ohio. The Jets 14, the Browns 13. In a moment, we'll continue to review the action of today's game.
This chapter in what has been a very frustrating season for the Cleveland Browns. A couple of gentlemen here to discuss that frustration. We're going to spend some moments with. I've got Calvin Hill next to me. We'll get to him in a minute. But first, let's turn it over to Pete Axtell, who's with Brian Sipe. Peter?
Brian, same old story for the Browns today. A lot of yards, no points, no victory. Describe how you feel throughout this year. What's been going on?
Well, I think the word that comes to mind has got to be frustration. It's certainly been a frustrating year, particularly coming off the season like we had last year. And I think that what's so frustrating for us is that not only was it gratifying for ourselves, but gratifying for the whole town. And this town loves a winner, and they were so good to us. I think we all really wanted to respond. And it's just been one of those years when we haven't had the breaks and we haven't had the big plays when we needed them. And comes a point when you put up or you shut up, and frankly, I almost feel like shutting up.
Well, don't quite yet. I think every Brown and every Brown fan is asking the question. Maybe you can answer it. What happens when you get inside the 20? What goes wrong?
We've had an unbelievable amount of penalties this year in the scoring position. I've never seen anything quite like that. And then I don't know. I think that we're going to have to spend a considerable amount of time in the off-season reanalyzing, reevaluating what it is that we're doing down there, what we're trying to do down there. We certainly have had our problems. I think the biggest thing is that nobody's come up with the big play. I have to feel responsible somewhat myself. I'm the director of the big play. I got to make it happen too, but the fact of the matter is it just hasn't happened.
You waited a long time to reach Player of the Year last year. Now a slide back down. How does it feel?
Well, I realized what happened to me last year was a collective award I mean, we had a tremendous amount of I had a tremendous amount of cooperation with the team last year, and I think anybody that's had that award realizes that the people around them were doing some pretty great things. So it's kind of tough for all of us, but it's certainly nothing that you expect to win year after year. I'm just happy that I had it. Sam reminded me a couple weeks ago that nobody can take it away from me. So I can still smile when we talk about it, but right now that's not what's important. What was important was winning this game today, but more importantly, getting things right so that when we start the season next year, it'll be right.
Okay, Brian, thanks very much for stopping to talk to us. Brian?
Okay, Peter, you know, the word class, I think, oftentimes dealing with people in this league is a bit overworked, and so I'm going to use it one more time, but also add that I am standing with a gentleman of great dignity, a man that's been admired around this league for a long time and now is stepping aside. And Calvin Hill, as you step aside, what thoughts do you leave with?
Well, just it's been a beautiful experience. You know, I've been fortunate enough to play for some of the great coaches, you know, Tom Landry, George Allen, and ending up here in Cleveland with Sam. And it's been a delight.
Are you satisfied with the life, with the way it has gone?
Well, ideally, I'd like to be announcing my retirement in Pontiac, but, you know, other than that, I can't complain. I mean, I would have liked to have won this game, but, you know, I've been luckier than a lot of players.
Does the winning and the losing still measure as heavily in your mind as it did when you were a youngster at Yale?
I think so. I think, you know, the key to a football game is to go in and analyze and try to figure out what went wrong, and then to correct it, and then next week to benefit from that correction. And so, you know, it's always a learning experience that, you know, and the learning shows the next week. And so it's a great game. And, you know, I've been fortunate to play 12 years in the NFL. I've been to the Super Bowls, and I can't complain. I really can't complain.
Calvin, you're a tremendous gentleman. You'll have a ton of opportunities when you leave, and I don't know if Don Omar wants me to do this, but we'd love to have you come to see us.
Thank you.
We're going to step aside. We'll be back right after this. Loser, their record drops now to 5-10. The Jets move to 9-5-1. They come up a winner. Final score 14-13. It was really a sloppy ball game throughout the first half, but Todd to Harper in a 4th and 3 situation kept the drive alive when the ball game was still scoreless. The play covered 7 yards. And as you heard Richard Todd talk about, he then went to Johnny Jones, man out of Texas who enjoyed his finest ball game as a pro. 28-yard touchdown put the Jets out in front, 7-0. The Browns came right back. Dino Hall took the ball at his goal line, brought it back to midfield, a 50-yard return. But as has been the case all year long, the Browns could not push the ball in from close, and Matt Bahr, 26-yard field goal was all they came away with. It made it 7-3. Just before the half ended, with just 24 seconds left, Todd to Harper, 8 yards, moved the Jets in front, 14-3. That was to be the last of the Jets' points. As for the Browns' defense, it kept rising up, as Clarence Scott did there, to stop the Jets. But the only touchdown Brian Sipe could engineer was this throw to Calvin Hill across the middle. Throughout the ball game, though, the Browns just could not get any more. They threatened. This pass to Ricky Feature got them close, but after getting a 1st and goal set up at the 6-yard line, they once again had to settle for a field goal from Matt Bahr. It was a case of a missed opportunity, and once that opportunity went by the boards, so did the Browns' chances for a victory. And so it's been a busy day, but I think instead of doing our usual credits, I will defer that honor to my man, Dick Enberg. Take it away, Richard.
Brian, thank you very much. One of the things I miss most about not having Merlin Olsen here was just, well, I don't like to go to a movie alone or to any game alone, and I miss that personal relationship, and we'll look forward to being with him again soon. Final score 14-13, thanks to all the NFL 81 game, and thanks to our very special list of composers who provided the music for our telecast today. Coordinating producer of football, Ted Nathanson. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Today's telecast was produced by Larry Cirillo, directed by Ted Nathanson. NFL 81 was produced by David Neal and directed by Bob Leahy. Technical director Bill Tobey. Associate producers Michael Hadley. Associate director John Libretto and David Hoffman. Playoff bids are on the line, and tomorrow, big day of NFL football action on NBC Sports. Join Brian for all the scores, highlights, and late-breaking news from around the league on NFL 81. Then it's regional football action. Cincinnati can clinch the AFC Central with a win at Pittsburgh, and San Diego is in a must-win situation at Tampa Bay, plus many other big games, all important to the overall playoff picture. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. That's all tomorrow on NBC Sports. The final again from Cleveland's Municipal Stadium, the New York Jets 14, Cleveland Browns 13.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovation.